All right, here we go. Good evening, everyone. It's Marty, and welcome to Two Lines. Welcome to Tuesday at Two Lines. It looks like the chat has been really busy already. Looks like Chris Freder is in. Yeah, he got. Looks like he got his two-line sign. That's awesome, Chris. Steve Sweeney, George is in here. Area 51. Welcome, George. The fingers is always on top of it. Hey, Danny, welcome. Wild Man, welcome. Man, Devil Dog, you guys are on it tonight. Lots of stuff going on in the chat. Welcome. We have an exciting episode, if you want to call these episodes. We've got Kevin from Race Track Scenics back to join us, and he's going to share some information and maybe give a tour of the shop and see some exciting things there. But he wants to talk about the elevated track system that he's been working on, which looks fantastic. Starting to see some pictures of those online that people are buying and setting up on their layouts, and so he's going to kind of show us how those work tonight, and who knows where else we'll go. The last time the conversation was great, and we got to learn a lot about how the business started and the things that they were doing, so yeah. Eric Tucker, welcome. Glad to have you. Let's see who else is in. So John Albright. Hey, John, welcome. Good to have you. I'll go ahead and get it not out of the way, but Rost coffee. Somebody, let's see, who was it? Was it Chris Freder that posted? He changed one of his billboards to a Rost coffee billboard and posted that maybe yesterday or today. I saw that. Hey, Mark from Smart Race, welcome. Hey, John W. Hey, Curvy, what's going on? Hey, Mark, Slot Journal. Glad to have you guys. There is my brother, Dusty. Welcome. Hello, ladies. Hey, Richard Kruger. Count on my brother. Three Bean Raceway. Guys, if I missed somebody, I apologize. There's a lot going on in the chat. Hey, Garage. Hey, Jeremy. What's going on, man? Hey, Cyberg. Glad to have you here. Sean Casey, shout out to you. Thanks for the message today. You got my wheels turning. I think we will have that conversation, and maybe at some point we'll let the community in on that. So, hey, Daryl, Marty is always fashionably late. It was 8:00, like 30 seconds late. Daryl, gosh. Hey, Paoli, welcome, man. Good to have you guys. So let's bring Kevin on. All right, Kevin, what's up?
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Good, man. Welcome back to Two Lines, Tuesday at Two Lines. I guess I get that right. But we're happy to have you back, man. The last time you were here, just a great conversation. I know we kind of downloaded after the live stream and just talked about how enjoyable the conversation was, and I think a lot of that has to do with we have a lot in common, and it was kind of exciting to share some stories about our pasts and things that we were into, but we have a lot of things that cross over, which is a lot of fun. But the guys in the chat really kind of loved having you on and being able to ask questions and throw out ideas. I got feedback all that following week, from guys saying it was so cool that you were willing to like listen and hear their thoughts and listen to their ideas, and and possibly, I mean, we've already seen some of that stuff from that night, especially with the Two Lines billboard. But yeah, it was really cool. So welcome back. Good to have you. So what's going on in your shop?
Well, I mean, we've been being very busy shipping orders and trying to come up with new products, and the elevated track system is starting to make its way out to people. I know I've seen a few pictures of layouts with it set up, but it's pretty exciting. And we've added curves to the setup for Carrera, and we've already started the preliminary geometry, if you will, for Scalectric and Polycar, and eventually we'll make it down to HO track system. I know a lot of the serious HO guys are using more like commercial tracks or Viper tracks. So we're doing some research into what we're going to do there. But people that have Carrera Scalectric or Qualicar systems will be able to. I'm looking at the screen, seeing somebody chatting.
Yeah, that's right.
People with all 3 track systems will have all of the track sections available.
That's awesome. That's a lot of work on your part.
Johan, my partner, and I were discussing that, and it's 300 part numbers.
Yeah.
Basically, It turns out to be 300 different designs. So it is an undertaking. I see why no one's done it before.
Right. Yeah, it's sure. Sure. Yeah, there's just a lot to it. I mean, you've got all the different turn radiuses. You have shoulders, no shoulders. There's just so many things to consider when designing that.
Yeah, I mean, the shoulders, everybody that's been interested in this is first thing they say is, can I use shoulders? So we have added shoulders to the Carrera curves and straights. So you can do, as of right now, 4 lanes with no shoulders or 2 lanes with shoulders, inner and outer shoulders.
Yeah.
There's too many combinations to skip inner and outer shoulders. So everything is inner and outer shoulders. And then we can do 4 lanes with shoulders by special order, but it's going to be a few months before we get to those.
Yeah.
Most people use 2 lanes anyway, so and shoulders are definitely necessary.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I've never, how close are the other systems? Like, I mean, you built this initially around Carrera, but I mean, like Scalectrics and Polycar, and I know that their radiuses are a little different. Can you make them fit? Are they close enough that you can kind of
well, you can't. You have to. Sorry to talk over you.
Oh no, you're good.
You have to. Well, I mean, it has to match the geometry of the curve. So we've learned quite a bit about that, and I can show you. Hold on a second. I have a prop.
Nice.
All right, so the geometry of every track system is different. So you really can't transfer. Just like you'd have to have a special connecting piece to use 2 different track systems, like Ninco used to have. This is a Carrera R1 curve.
Yeah.
With borders, with those shoulders. I'm going to step back a little bit. So you can see this is the foundation piece. It's the opposite. This is the foundation piece. It's quite large because with shoulders, Carrera track is
big,
quite wide. But it has to match exactly. But so that's it's work for us because it's actually a little bit larger on each side, so you can have the
your guardrails,
guardrail catch fence. So you could actually use Carrera guardrail with it, or you could use the ones that we sell.
Yeah.
And
I think what you sell looks
decorative.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks a little more. I was prepared. I swear, it's missing. Never mind. I'll find it eventually. But yeah, we have 2 different kinds of guardrail that you can use: standard height and then a catch fence. There's pictures online of that.
Yeah.
I apparently put it away. So it's a lot of options. And if anybody's used Carrera track with the shoulders on anything other than an absolutely flat surface, you know that there's always kind of this thing going on.
Right.
This foundation is absolutely positively flat.
Yeah.
So it makes
really
the track look better.
Yeah, it really helps the Carrera track out, I'm sure.
And you can purchase just this without the support system.
Okay.
So you can actually make a diorama, use our guardrails, and support the shoulders better because it's like a perfectly flat surface. And then because because the pieces and curves and straights match the Carrera system exactly, you don't need anything special to plan ahead. You can
Yeah.
use whatever Carrera track software or planning software, or just write down what you have
Yeah.
and match the pieces you need from our website one to one. Everything's not there yet, but it will be in a few days. And so it won't be any guesswork. If you have an R2 curve with shoulders, you would order an R2 curve foundation
Yeah.
with shoulders,
So
and it
so
would match exactly.
how does it match up? How well does it do when you have a varying radius turn, where you've got a 3 into a 2, a couple twos, and then an R1, things like that?
Well, each of the sections, the foundation, are exactly the same size as the Carrera, so it
Right.
matches exactly
Okay.
the same. I
Perfect.
mean, it's perfect,
That's
and
awesome.
it makes a big difference.
Yeah, I'm sure. Is the height adjustable?
It's not adjustable, but we do have varying height
Okay.
supports. So
Gotcha.
the basic support is a fixed height, which we uh, figured out exactly. Everybody always goes, "What about racing trucks or my 124 scale cars?" So we made
Sure.
sure it was plenty high for that.
Okay.
Plus, you can buy in 1 inch increments, so you can get a 1 inch high support, a 2 inch high support, 3 inch high support.
Gotcha. So whatever grade you want to make that, you've got the option to.
Well,
That's great.
the ramp system is specifically made so
Okay.
that I'm looking around. I wish I had somebody here, but essentially, the ramp supports. Let me grab one
Yeah.
second.
Yeah. No worries. Hey guys, if you have any questions for Kevin about this system or any of the other products, just remember, put a Q before your question in the chat so I can spot them a little easier. And then those guys that are out there moderating, if I miss something, shout me out. So, yes, Amanda deals with Billy, so I doubt that she was easily offended. That's funny. Yeah, well, man, the curbs laying flat. I think this system will definitely help with that, if that's what you're looking for. Hey, Johnny Pro, welcome. Slot Car Dojo. I wanted to mention your shell corner. Fantastic. It is looks great. So
I have returned. All right, so this was the track section that I was looking for earlier. This is without borders, with a catch fence.
Oh, nice.
You can see that it's pretty high.
Yeah, I like that. That's great.
And it looks great. I mean, you could use this without without the track support system as a diorama,
Okay.
and it's pretty solid. Somebody was asking me, can it stand the hits? I'm like, you more than likely would damage your car before you broke the fence.
Sure. Yeah.
So there's that. But anyway, the support system itself looks like this, and then the ramp supports there's a low side and a high side that matches exactly the grade of that you need to use 3 sections of track to get from 0
Okay.
to the height of the bridge, if you will, or the support system.
Sure.
And the space between here is so that you can have an alternate roadway underneath.
Okay.
Okay, and then we should probably switch to the phone.
All right.
Or maybe it'd be easier if I just move my computer.
Yeah, whatever you think's easier.
Okay, well, my phone, I'll be able to see what you're seeing. So,
Okay.
I'm joining on the phone.
All right.
Mute here. Mute here. Mute here. Mute here. Mute here.
Okay. Let's see.
All right, can you hear me?
I got you. Yeah. Let me add you.
Alrighty.
What we'll do is we'll solo you so you can be on the.
Alrighty. So, come over here in my handy dandy light box.
Nice. It's where all the action happens.
Yeah, so is there a way to flip this? I guess not. Can you see that okay?
Yeah, we can see that.
Alrighty, so here is an R1 curve, excuse me. R2 would not fit in my light box. So R1 curve, um, there's a support at each junction
Okay.
where each track piece ends up. There's gaps here for the hooks for each section of my system to connect to. And there is enough space to run the same size, same width track underneath.
Yeah.
So you could do an entire
Yeah.
setup.
Yeah, that's
And I actually have a
fantastic.
third level because I'm absolutely nuts and going to do a third level because I can. But if you look at how the track pieces fit together and the way the catch fence looks, you can get extremely detailed with this.
Yeah.
Plus, I have artwork prepared already, and I have curved signs that
Okay.
would go in place of the guardrail. Would actually extend the guardrail, so you could add curved artwork. You know, some of my signs are curved already, so it's a pretty in-depth system, and you can make it. I mean, it's how detailed do you want to make it?
Sure.
Because you could just, I was thinking today I could paint each one of these sections red and white, and the guardrails. They're if you think about the MDF by itself, it's not very sturdy, but you make it the ribs
Yeah.
with the supports going into the foundation. It could take a hit, no problem.
Yeah.
And if it does break, we'll send you a new one.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that'll be a problem. And it looks good, though. I really like it. I mean, that question comes up, Kevin, all the time in the live chat on live streams, what people are using for guardrails. Mm-hmm. And there's so many different things people are using. And some of it looks good. Some of it doesn't look good. That looks fantastic. And the fact that you're creating art to put on it as well, billboards and things like that, that's going to step up everybody's scenery game very easily.
So if you look on the outside, I mean, it's pretty great. And the other thing is that with my layout originally, let's switch back to the computer now. Probably a good idea.
Yep.
Hello.
Yep, we're back. You got me?
You there? Oh, I'm volume.
Yeah. You muted your volume. You got me now?
I'm here.
Hey, you got me?
Sorry about that.
Yep. That's right. No worries.
I got you. All right.
That system looks fantastic. Yeah. Great job.
Thank you. Johan and I have been working on it off and on for a year, and it's only recently it's very material and time intensive. Obviously, the design aspect of it has also taken a great deal of time. It's much different than designing a sign or even a building because of all the geometry and all the stuff that thankfully Johan went and studied calculus and engineering and all that stuff. So except for the fact that I skipped 6th hour. But
that's great.
Where I also added on my layout, I wanted it to have the track fold back on itself and then go back underneath, because I only had 14 feet or so length to work with, and only about 5 feet deep. So I wanted to be able to shoot the track underneath the track,
sure,
back. And that was cool because you could put lights underneath there, and there's girders and lots of detail underneath there, so you can make it look really great.
Yeah.
And then you could lay it up underneath, and but it's a great way to extend the layout with space that you have.
Yeah, when I first jumped in, I was studying layouts before I even bought my first track, and I was looking at all these different layouts online and in YouTube videos, and people would post pictures in the forums. And all the research I was doing, there were so many layouts because of shortage of space where track would double over itself, right? You'd have multiple layers. some 2, even 3 layers, just so guys, they wanted a longer track to run instead of just, a single loop. They would, they loop around themselves a couple times. And so, but it was interesting, the things that they, were propping the stuff up with, having to build shelves along the walls and to hold track. And this is just a great system for that. So if you're short on space to really extend your layout, that's great work.
And
Oh, we lost your mic. There you go. You're back. You got muted.
All right. Okay. So everything is modular. So you can buy this if you need just this.
Yeah.
And that's a support. And you could get away with several of these because the track will sit along the top of it and be supported just fine.
Yeah.
You lose a lot of the detail and the cool girders and all that stuff. But it's a system that you could start small and grow with.
Sure.
Just like a regular layout. We designed it in such a way that you don't have to glue. You have to glue the sub-assemblies together, but the flat sections, the foundations sit on top of here with hooks.
Okay.
And you can take it apart. Now, this is how a typical foundation would arrive to you.
Okay.
And this has the 3 girders, the 2 guardrails, and the flat track
Gotcha.
foundation. So you assemble this, and then you just put them one by one on the supports.
Very good.
When you change your layout, that's one of the nice things about having a plastic track system is you can change your layout whenever you feel like it. You can add to it. If you move, you can take it down and put it back up.
Just pop
So
out.
these don't need to glue on here. The girders have hooks.
Gotcha. And they lock in place.
And they sit, fairly sturdily in there. And if you break the hook, I mean, it literally works without the hook. To be honest with you, hook helps a lot. If you break the hook, you can just replace the girders.
Gotcha.
But if you're careful, you have to be that careful. I mean, I've taken these apart and putting back together a dozen times. But it's not a situation where you set this all up, glue it all together, do all your landscaping and all that stuff, and then you try to change your layout, and you have to tear the whole thing out, and then you buy new stuff or build new stuff. This, you can repurpose it, add to it at any time.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
The only downside of all this is it's very material intensive. It takes a long time to produce.
Sure.
And it took us a long time to figure out, to get the pieces to fit together just like the Carrera pieces do.
Yeah.
And then now we have basically went to school. We go doing the Scalextric and Polycar won't be as have to make 3 of them to get it right.
Sure. That's one of the. There's a handful of questions in the chat. Here's one of them.
Okay.
So the plan to have systems for sport and Polycar tracks. So
definitely going to have that for sure.
Yeah.
Carrera is just what I have and I use.
Right. Sure.
Johan has Ninco, which is almost a dead track system, I guess.
Yeah.
So there may be a Ninco one eventually.
Sure.
I know he's using in his layout the straights only. Again, we originally were only going to do straights, but people requested curves, so we decided to do the curves, and now they want I have shoulders for all of my track pieces, so the magnetless guys, like I have a lot of cars from the 60s, they have no magnets in them, and they need the shoulders anyway. So but
124 guys too that running.
Yep.
So the best thing I ever did was buy. My brother helped me, and so did my buddy John Mark. We bought shoulders, borders for all of our Carrera track. That was the best thing. We love the track now. It went from being a great, a good track to a great track. Just adding those borders. Another question. I think it's because you hinted about it the last time you were on that you had toyed around with a wood modular system. Both George and John Albright asked if. Am I mistaken, or were you working on a modular track section as well?
We are definitely working on a modular track section. The original plan was to have to do this last summer, but
Sure.
got busy doing the scenery stuff. The great thing about what we're doing right now is this gives us the geometry to do a wood track in a situation where we could, have it be something other than 3 or 4 static layouts that we have designed, and you have to buy those.
Sure.
Um,
Because the hard part of that is the geometry, figuring all that out, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you're just free routing something, you could like traditional wood tracks are made. Um, you make a mistake, you bondo up the crack, and you reroute it. This would be a situation. This would be a situation where we have big chunks that you could purchase that would fit together in different ways. Starting with a big elaborate, interesting oval, a road course, and I have this little small, like a diorama track that I'm going to release too. That's more like a test track or a skid pad kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it'd be for someone that's a good second track, good track car display that actually works. And I see cool. George's question about the track system. If we are going to do a track system, and the first one goes to George. Sorry.
That's why he asked the question. Now we know. We know.
And because first of all, he lives 20, 30 minutes away, so it would be easy to deal with any bugs.
Yeah,
but
sure.
The thing is, be able to make something that you can ship.
Sure.
As we discussed prior, it's like there's lots of people that can make a slot car track, wood slot car track, but can you ship it and have it arrive in one piece? And,
that's right. Yeah. And can you afford to ship it? That's the other thing.
Yeah, can you ship it at a reasonable price? Will it arrive in one piece? And can you take it down later so that your substantial investment is not wasted if you move?
Right. Well, I mean, you've already developed catch fences and rails, guardrails. You're well on your way.
We built a track. George has seen the track. We built the track. We got that aspect down.
That's cool.
The slots, the geometry of the slots. I mean, because it's just if you think about it, the curve of a slot. I mean, a straight slot is an eighth of inch wide or whatever.
Yeah.
But when it curves, it actually has to be a tiny bit wider, or the guide flag will get caught. Yeah. So there's all kinds of things that you have to consider when you do something, especially like a CNC situation or sure. laser situation.
Yeah, that's cool. Question, Kevin, do you also cover banked turns?
There's really no way for MDF, the material that I have, to do that.
Yeah.
We have a support system that I built for my Carrera R3 turns, which had inner and outer borders. And it worked pretty well, but it was still somewhat fiddly. Like what I would do for it would work fine for me, but I don't know if I would sell it to someone else.
Sure.
But I would like to work on something that's better than what Carrera has. But you can laser cut a curve, but you can't laser cut that multi-dimensional cone thing that you get with a.
Right.
It's been an age-old problem because Carrera doesn't even sell a usable catch fence for their banked turns because of the way that their guardrails don't flex the right way. So.
Right. I'm looking through if there's any more questions. It's obvious that it's taken a lot of work to get to this point, but I think that it's none of it's wasted for sure because it will translate to future projects really well.
There's easier ways to make money. I'm doing this because I love slot car racing. It makes me feel like I'm 10 years old every
sure.
time I sit down to do something. I enjoy building the kits. I get to make them first. I don't have any instructions, so they're like a big 3D puzzle.
Yeah.
So, but it's rewarding in its own regard, and then it's also rewarding because we get the chance to talk to you and other people that feel the same way about this, rather diverse and complex hobby.
Yeah. So Gary Dunmore asked, does Carrera sell those catch fences and guardrails? No, Gary, those are Kevin's. Those are not from Carrera. Those are his own design to work with that system that he was just showing. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, and the system itself, like if you can just see, the track literally slides right into the system very easily. I swear, because I'm doing it the wrong way. But so correct. That's how tight it fits.
Sure. Yeah.
And you can get the guardrails can come this height, which is. Let me grab a card. You can see the catch fence is pretty high.
Yeah.
And you put advertising on here, you do all kinds of neat stuff, and this applies to with and without borders. So,
yeah, that's fantastic.
Slot cars without borders.
Let's see. Chris Freder asks, how much weight can it handle? I have a 25-pound cat.
Definitely can handle a cat.
There you go, Chris.
Yeah,
it's all good.
Yeah, you definitely can handle a cat. I mean, one of the neat things about having a partner that used to be a civil engineer is he's not just building this thing to just barely work. Sure. He's like in the real world, would the thing stand up? So.
Sure, that's funny. Let's see. Cliff Burton says, "What's the damage? The price? All your prices are listed on your website. So
yes,
racetrackscenics.com.
If you knew what the profit margin was, you wouldn't go, okay, it's way too much money. But basically, it comes out to about $20 to $25 a foot, linear foot, for everything. Again, you could buy just the support. Start with just supports and fill in and get it the way you want it, and then fill in the blanks with all the details as you want to. And these are just $10 a piece. So
yeah, that's cool.
So you could do and if you wanted to, you could actually cut your own piece of 1/8 inch whatever material, the length of a straight, and use fewer of these. So, giving away secret, but the cost of the material and the time to cut them is pretty substantial.
Yeah.
We didn't want to do something that was super cheap. We wanted to do something that was really cool. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and so many slot car tracks get passed down, and so this will be like, it almost becomes an heirloom that goes with the track. So as tracks get passed down, people have made the investment in the system. It'll be able to go. It'll last a long time.
I saw somebody asked about the banked fences again with the height of the fence. Carrera's banked turns match the same geometry as the regular turns. So absolutely, I could make it fit as far as a catch fence goes.
Gotcha.
Because the R3 turn flat one and R3 banked are exactly the same geometry. So using the Carrera supports that come with it, this would be a great foundation for that.
Yeah.
That's and cool. Then just make the catch fence high enough to reach the top or past that.
Right. Yeah.
That's a great suggestion. I mean, that's a great idea.
That is a great idea. I know when we had the bank turn on the far end of this, I mean, you hit that turn so fast that you can lose cars off the end, and so having a catch fence, some type of catch fence, is really important, and that would be fantastic. Plus, visibly you can see through it. So we had one of our driver stations on that end, and too big of a catch fence, you're looking through the fence, and so that's the beauty of that, is you can see through that as well, unless you put all kinds of art on it. So yeah, it looks like Swamp Dog. This is the exact system I've been looking for, a 4x12 area, and was trying to figure out how to swing back the track. Yep, outstanding job, Kevin. MP is in the house. Welcome, Massimo. Glad to have you tonight.
And
Um,
Massimo sent me an email today.
oh yeah, very good.
I've been watching his videos for a while. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
I know him.
yeah. He's a good dude. He put out a great video. He went and visited one of his somebody that a subscriber that lives nearby him, uh, and went to visit his track and did a nice video kind of covering that. That was pretty cool. Let's
Yeah,
see, what else do we have? They're talking about ghost cars in the chat. Kevin, thank you for. That's Rag Top Pat. Thank you for the 2 special pieces I needed for my layout. So, looks like you were able to take.
no,
They
were on the drive, but yeah, he hadn't put on the website yet the various Carrera curves. So,
oh, gotcha.
He did an R1 30 instead of a 60.
Oh, gotcha. Let's see here. It looks great, Kevin. Can't wait to play with some. That was from Boone. Let's see who else. It is the only model of support. I'm looking for something more basic and cheap for Carrera Track. Johnny Pro, the cheapest elevated pieces of track for me was reusing the boxes that the track come in. if you want cheap, that's the cheap way to go.
I went to. I've used everything. It's. I went to like a thrift store and bought a bunch of books for 10 cents a piece, so I could get the varying heights.
Yeah.
I've used all kinds of stuff. There's. You don't have to buy this to accomplish what we're doing here. It's pretty basic. I just wanted to do something that was, over the top, cool looking.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at your system. You don't even have to paint that. Like I didn't paint my billboards because I liked the look of the MDF, just the way you sent it. But I mean, there are people who get into the details, and painting this, applying different colors, and you could really go all out with this system.
And the guardrails, I wanted to, like I said, you don't have to elevate the track to use this as a diorama.
Right.
So you could purchase this piece with the guardrails, paint each one of these a different color, put some advertising on different ones. You could intentionally break something and put a part of it like a car had gone through it. You could do all kinds of neat things just to make a diorama that you maybe just set on your desk. I mean, that's what you can do with this thing.
Right.
And it really has taken a life of its own because, again, we just wanted to make a bridge in an elevated section that you could run another piece of track underneath it. That was it.
Yeah.
And then it was the users, other people, having ideas about how they would use it in their system. And it, started to open a whole big can of worms. But I mean, I've really enjoyed the process, and I'm really, there's a couple people that have already posted pictures of their tracks with the long straights, and I can't wait to see what people do with the different guardrail options. And we have a gantry that can go across the top.
Okay.
So you could string lights across it. Do all kinds of neat stuff that you couldn't normally do because you could, you boom, 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 boom. So you get this your elaborate pie,
Yeah.
elaborate shape that you wouldn't get if you just did something, like this over it.
Sure.
You follow me?
Yeah.
Because then it's just there's so many neat things that you could do. And as much as I love making the cars go as fast as they possibly can, to me, what really drew me back into the hobby was the Tuesday night that wasn't racing with my son, sitting around, building something or downloading, trying to find the right photo to, I have this really scratch built before I started using a laser pit garage. And on the back of it, it's got the Shelby American sign.
Okay.
That I found, and then cleaned up a little bit and printed out on the paper and Mod Podge it to the back. And that's still one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
And it didn't cost anything.
Right.
you know? So, and that just filled up a Tuesday night, just that. And it sits in my studio at home, and it's just, I look at it, I'm like, I made that.
Yeah.
And it's
But
it's just it makes the hobby go through the week rather than just the times that you're racing with your buddies.
right. It's funny when I first built this layout, I was all about like race night with my brother and my friend John Mark, and we'd come over, and I really wasn't interested in scenery in the beginning. And then we built a catch fence along the back, basically just out of some thin plywood, just to keep cars from flying onto the floor. And after looking at that for even like it was 2 days, I was like, yeah, I've got to put something on that. A piece of wood just sitting there is begging for billboards or advertisement or something. And so I just went and printed out some old school signs. I just went to some old Le Mans pictures and looked at what was out there that was cool. But then when I ordered some billboards from you, they just took it to another level. Now I'm already starting to dream about what can I create that doesn't cause a problem marshaling, but still creates this sense of there's just something cool about the scenery. There's something cool about recreating something from your childhood, or a racetrack that you got to visit. And my brother, he went to North Wilkesboro this last weekend and went to the race. And so he doesn't know it, but in my next order, I'm ordering the North Wilkesboro Tower, so that flag stand.
Now we're gonna do the Winston building from there.
So, oh, are you really? That's awesome. So yeah,
I got myself invited, so I'm gonna go over there with a tape measure.
Oh, nice.
Or the roller measuring thing. I went there when they first brought it back. When they first brought it back last summer, and it's a pretty special place. It's
how far is that from you?
About 40 miles.
Okay, yeah,
not far at all. Yeah. And it's right by the freeway, so you go a certain way, you can see it from the freeway.
Yeah.
Talking about most of the signs that we make, a lot of times they're just, I saw this in the tragic accident at Le Mans 55 or 6 or whatever. This was one of the signs that was in the video. So we made that. It's available. And we had to actually find all the little pieces of the artwork to make it, because it's you can't just get the art, get it. So we try to make that as cool as possible. Yeah. But everything that we make is just because we think it's going to be cool.
Yeah.
To make.
Which that's part of the fun, right? Is discovering things that were alongside of a track someplace, and then recreating that.
Yeah, and it's the simplest things. Like we make these signs now, and I've got 50 or 60 different. We're not 50 or 60. I'm exaggerating. I've got 20 different liveries, so you can order this, and the sign's pretty detailed. It's similar to what they put up erect on the side of Le Mans or whatever.
Yeah,
and you can just choose your livery, get this, and put anything on it. That's what your two line sign is based on.
Yeah, I have that with the mobile. The mobile Pegasus is one of my favorite logos of all time. Mm-hmm. From anything. I've always been a kind of a logo person. That's probably my marketing piece of my life. But that Pegasus logo, I think, is one of the best logos ever created. In the fact that mobile went away from it for years, I was happy that they, back in the late '90s, they started gravitating back towards that logo because it's so good. So I have one on my track. I love the Sinclair logo. I've got one of those from you. Obviously, golf is big. Everybody likes golf liveries. So I've got a golf sign on mine too. So yeah, those are great billboards, and so easy to add as scenery. And if I needed to pull them down and move them out of the way, so if I was afraid they're going to get broken during a race night, they're so easy to move, and it's very convenient. So you've done a great job, Kevin. really
Well, thank
enjoying the
you.
stuff.
I saw in the comments that there R1 curves. Uh, every piece in the Carrera track system is represented. Haven't done any R4 curves yet, but if you run into a situation and we have R1 30 and 60, R2's 30s, because that's all there are, and then R3 same thing as 30s. We get a request to do R4, we'll do that. I'll list on the site, but probably won't actually go through the process of making it all work until someone actually orders it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if there's a track piece you need or something special, you need a couple inches higher, a couple inches lower, we can accommodate that. The only thing we're not going to do is it's either going to have borders inside and outside or not.
Gotcha.
Now you don't have to necessarily use the borders because it's still going to look good with,
Yeah, the fact that foundation is all one piece.
Yeah,
it works for anything. Yeah, I thought I thought maybe you would require just make one version that includes space for all the borders and just leave it at that. But I guess some people wouldn't have room for that. So having both sizes is nice.
Yeah, having both borders, the shoulders on both sides is the way to go, because if you make an S turn, go one way or the other, then you have that one little. Even Carrera doesn't really get it right. If you do an S turn and you don't want to have an inside border, you have to put that one little straight piece that leaves a little pie-shaped space. So you really are, having to do the borders all the way around. And again, it's still going to look good without a border because it's just it's just like sitting on a flat foundation. You can fill it in with something else.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love. I've got you can't see it. I'm blocking the way. I've got the S turns there on my layout that kind of come towards us. And I always thought if I had room, I don't know that I really have room, but that's where the Dunlop bridge belongs. So I can kind of recreate that, from Le Mans but I don't think I have room between my other track. I've got a lot of track squeezed onto this layout. So, but I'm already I got addicted to it. I had my first billboards, my last order. Now I'm trying to decide what's coming next. So.
Well, we have we have this gantry, but twice as wide.
Yeah.
So we have basically what I showed you earlier in the light box, where the thing it's as wide as a Carrera piece and a border.
Gotcha.
So you could do that, and then you could dress up the gantry. It wouldn't be a bridge, but you could put other stuff on it.
Sure.
And then plus we have a generic version of this. It's the same thing, but it has start finish on it.
Oh yeah.
So you could have a basic start finish gantry.
Yeah. Danny asks Kevin, how do I get one of those logo signs? I think he's talking about with his own logo on it.
I'm happy to do. If you send me a logo, I'm happy to do it. There's a small fee to make a special trip to the print shop and configure it. But yeah, we can absolutely do that.
There you go. There's your answer, Danny. Let's see what else. Any other questions? Have I missed? Trying to keep up with the chat. There's a bunch going on there.
Anybody that's into HO stuff, I'm looking for input for doing this for HO. I just don't know which the most popular track system to start with. Most of the people that are buying my HO stuff have a Viper track or some other, not a Tyco or Auto World or whatever track they have. I'm not that familiar with what track system is the most popular.
Yeah.
So looking for input on that.
They're talking about catch fences. Let's see. Modular track. Let's see.
AFX HO track.
So you think that's like the most popular AFX?
Probably.
That's probably true. I'm not into HO, but AFX has been around so long, wouldn't surprise me. Just making sure I didn't miss any questions. Yeah, guys, don't be afraid to repost your question if I missed it. So I apologize. Yeah, Dusty, he put your link out there so people could find you.
That's gonna the website will be greatly improved by the end of the week. It's really a complicated. It's not a complicated system if you think about it, but it's hard to explain.
Sure.
So the end of the day is if you whatever you need, it will be the Carrera part will match this part one for one. I mean exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, a few people said that they have AFX. Chris Federer ordered the Castrol signs from you.
I think we shipped them a little while ago.
Oh, nice. There you go, Chris. Orders on the way.
We've been working. I was showing, before we were talking. I mean, we've been going through and stocking up on all of the signs and items that are say less than $50 a piece. I have several in stock. So if you order signs, they'll get shipped right away.
Yeah, they're
which
saying
is
that
really
AFX and Tyco look like they're very similar in size. I have an Auto World drag strip I would like some stuff for.
well. Everything is, with the exception of the track system, everything's available on HO.
Yeah, that's cool.
Or stick 1/64. And we're getting more and more orders for 1/43rd scale as well.
Really?
I think a lot of people order the 1/43rd scale signs because you can put more of them on your track.
Yeah, and like you were talking last time, like forced perspective. I know Dave Kennedy. He has a plan to put like a mountain on his layout, and wants to do some things that are forced perspective, so it looks like it's a lot further away than it really is.
Yeah, Boone just did a video with used some of my signs in an unexpected way.
Yeah, they look great. That's a fantastic video from Boone. Boone, thanks. Last night, I would throw the shout out to you. We had a text conversation last night that was really good. I enjoyed it. Always good to have great conversations. So I appreciated that, Boone.
All of this is largely his fault. So
is it? So he's to blame.
So with COVID, watching videos, and
that's right.
the SO guy. Next thing you know.
Gene, do you have a standard incline from the tabletop to the girders?
It's three straight track sections is the standard incline.
There you go. It takes three straights, Gene, to get to the level. Let's see.
And it's as smooth as you can make plastic track.
Okay. So the transition from that to the top, yeah.
Yes, I'm going to be doing a video on that. I was 75% done with a larger layout to show you tonight. But essentially, I've got the incline, all of the elements all put together. So next month, people can watch my Facebook, and I'll be showing videos starting this week with all the pieces, parts put together.
Okay.
With the over, under, and track. And,
you've been posting a lot of photos of the system on Facebook. So, I mean, I think if people were interested in it, there's lots to go out and look at and see it in different ways. And
and again, if we do this largely for fun, so everybody's ideas are important. So when we get an idea like, we should have shoulders, so we added shoulders. We should have this, we added that. So now got me thinking about the banked turn, because if his idea, again, if you put the bank turn in this would fill the back, sweet, nice, just make it taller.
Yeah.
And you got a nice catch fence, include the border on it, and then the geometry of this is straight up and down while the curve is like this.
Right.
Which solves that incline. It won't look like Daytona where the fence is the same as the incline.
Yeah.
But if somebody I need to have it 3.5 inches tall and I don't offer 3.5 inches, it's really not hard to make that happen.
Sure.
And we're going to have everything in 1 inch increments up to a second level. So you literally be able to have like a triplane version of it, 3 levels.
Wow.
And I think that'd be kind of cool for like a hill climb track or
sure.
urban thing, or just because you're nuts like me.
I think Billy had made a comment earlier about that not being tall enough. So you just answered that question. Yeah, you'll be able to make that as tall as you want it.
This is just a piece of laser cut wood. I can make it as long as you would want it to be. And you could do a situation where every other one was taller, and then you could put attach mesh or gutter guard or whatever along it, rather than having the
if you really want it to look like fence.
Yeah.
Let's see, George, maybe everybody's blaming Boone. It's Boone's fault.
Well, is it really? Yeah.
Can you use the Carrera incline track with this system? The incline track, is that the hump?
The ramp. You certainly could.
Sure.
I don't know. I have the old. They make 2 versions of it, or they made one version for the original exclusive line, and then they came up with a better one because their cars wouldn't really, or either launch or bottom out. If anybody wants to send me one, you get the first one free.
There you go.
Because I just need to have one to make it from.
There's your answer. Curvy Road asks, are the catch fences single pieces that you assemble? Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, they ship flat so that they're easy to ship, and then you pop them out and then glue them. What glue do you recommend, Kevin?
Here we use CA glue, which is super glue.
Okay.
That uses an activator.
Okay.
Type On makes some that you can get just about anywhere. Let me grab the activator.
Yeah, I used super glue with mine, but you definitely want something that will dry clear. So that's
CA glue is super glue, and CA glue that comes in various different kinds. And then use CA. This activator makes it act more like traditional super glue, where you get the instant adhesion.
Yeah.
So you put it on, you get it to where you want it, and you hit it with this, and it's basically baking soda spray.
Okay.
And it seals it right away. You can use thicker and thinner stuff. And CA glue, interestingly enough, does dry clear. And if those really fancy pens that look like they're wood encased in glass or plastic, that is actually CA glue that's been polished.
Yeah.
So you can do interesting things with CA glue to fill gaps, make different finishes if you sand it right.
Yeah. My brother still does amazing lathe work. He makes coyote calls, and they're these beautiful things. And I think he uses CA glue to fix cracks and fill in gaps and holes and things like that. So
you can polish it to almost a glass-like finish.
Yeah.
And CA glue and super glue is CA glue, but it has kind of like the activator in it, so it acts within 10 seconds. Regular CA glue, it doesn't really. It'll harden by itself, but it won't. It'll take a while. You hit it with the activator, it happens right away.
Yeah.
So you can spread it on there and hit it with the activator and get a real glassy, polishable finish.
Chris asks, is it better to paint the RTS stuff or
it's MDF, so it should seal it with something.
Okay.
I really like the way it looks sometimes when there's nothing to it at all, so I'll just hit it with clear.
Okay.
And I really like the burned edges and smoky look, especially for things that would be wood in real life, like a fence or something. Yeah. If you're going to paint it, I use, with great success, Krylon red oxide primer, and then paint it whatever other color after that. The red oxide primer is cool because it looks like rust. And if you paint something from the top, you can leave little hairy, rusty looking things on the bottom, which are really realistic looking.
Yeah.
So you primer the whole thing and then spray it from the perspective you look at it. And then when you look at it from underneath, it's got, it looks like it's been painted a few times and rusting underneath.
Yeah.
Or you can paint over the whole thing. And then I also find the red oxide primer doesn't cover up the engraving that we put in stuff. So the black lines stay there. So you don't have to do any special techniques to fill in the lines and still look, you can still see the engravings.
Cool.
Rust-Oleum paint or that 2X stuff is fantastic, but it will immediately fill in any engravings because it's the whole point of that is to cover damaged surfaces.
Right. Yeah, that's what it's made for. Boone says he uses Gorilla Super Glue. And then John Albright says good old Elmer's.
Elmer's is probably the strongest all the way around.
Yeah.
There's no way to buy Gorilla Super Glue in the amount that I need.
Sure.
But yeah, Gorilla Super Glue is really the best. You don't have to use an activator. You got enough time to mess around with it. And the gel works fantastic. But I was going, it's like $7 for a 15-gram amount, and I use it by a lot.
Sure. I'm sure.
And then plus with the activator, you can do stuff you can't do with that. Like you can hold something and two pieces of wood together in an odd angle and spray it, and it's going to stay there.
Yeah. Yeah, the activator really is very nice, especially if you're impatient like I am. You don't want to wait for the glue to dry.
Yeah, when you hear about these activists protesting and they're gluing themselves to the road or whatever, they're using CA glue with activator.
That's great. This world, a lot of crazy.
Yes.
Hey guys, hope everybody's having a good evening. Okay, that's good. Welcome, Cliff. Glad to have you. Hey, Gale Force. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, Asher. Wow, we got a lot of people tuning in late. Yeah, you missed a great conversation so far, guys. Sorry, you'll have to go back and watch. Kevin's been sharing a lot of the elevated track system, lots of great questions about that.
It's fun when you talk about glue. There's really no wrong answer. All of those things will work. It just depends on how patient or impatient you are. And as far as painting goes, I used to love using acrylic, priming, and then using brushed on acrylic. And some of the things that are really important to me are still done that way. But I try to make everything a 1 or 2 can thing, so customers know that they can, get a decent result with doing as little skill level as possible, and then they can go from there. Just while looking at the.
Yeah, I'm looking through there and see if there's any more questions. I don't see any. John Albright says some of those activists should use CA as lip gloss.
For sure.
Yeah, I think we all can agree on that one, John. So anything else new that you've got coming? You've got a really great new sign, billboard. The 2 lines, dude, you knocked it out of the park. I love it. It's fantastic.
Interesting thing about this is we sent your graphic to Johan, and he sent it back, and I put it on the sign, and it was like, it looked small.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking 2 lines, 2 signs.
2 signs, yeah.
So this was an audible, putting two of them together, and I figured someone could either use just the one in the center, or do this, or use one in the center and then maybe use the second one somewhere else.
And pick up.
And the other cool thing is because it's like this, it's sort of white, it's sort of off white.
Yeah.
And the 2
signs.
Aged. Yeah, and then because of the laser, it puts a little bit of patina or burning around there, and to me, it just looks so realistic. Instead of being just thing. And as far as you were asking about something new and exciting, spent all kinds of time trying to make these real elaborate buildings and stuff, and then you do something like this.
Yeah, I saw your post about those. Those look fantastic. Those will be on my track.
People were asking about how I weathered them. Johan built the weathering right in the printing.
Yeah.
So they look worn, old and rusted.
Yeah.
Right from the get go. And this is one of those signs where if the artwork is somewhat complex like this shape, it's for sure, or round or whatever. Sorry, the delay. It comes laser cut, so you can just put it where it put it on, and it's nice and clean. And
yeah,
if it's square, a lot of times I won't do it because it adds time, and it also puts that patina on the edge. But it works so well when it's laser cut. And if you look at the back of it, you don't have to do anything to this.
No.
You put it together, 5 minutes.
Throw it up on the track.
It's just.
Yeah, they look great.
You do all these like big giant building and all the 400 parts, and then this is the thing that I get the most excited about. If that makes any sense.
Well, for me, it gave me such a great backdrop for pictures. Because my Instagram, I post a lot of pictures of my slot cars. So anything that I'm like what I'm working on now, what I'm tuning on now, I always post stuff out on Instagram. And like before, I didn't really have a great backdrop, but just adding a couple of billboards changed everything for me in my photography. So
it's the little thing. George requested this. We did this for him, and awesome. We have this for sale on our site in Area 51. So kind. He goes, if it helps you, you can sell them. But people want them. So
yeah.
And then we're going to do something like this for Massimo. It's going to be pretty cool.
That's awesome. I have a huge appreciation for that. Like you were so quick to say, hey, I'll send me your logo. I'll make you a billboard. And I just felt like that was supporting me and my channel. And I appreciated it. But just how you've worked with Boone and George and a bunch of other channels out there, I just appreciate that, because I think for a long time there were a lot of guys putting content out there about slot car stuff that weren't getting any kind of love, and that's changed. Like that tone is changing, and Kevin, I appreciate that you did that for me, because I'm excited. I'm a little humbled that there are actually people out there that want to buy them to put on their track, but. That's cool.
So anybody else got any questions?
Yep, Raul did an awesome job on those logos. Let's see. Oh, Curvy Road. Looking at 3-piece garage with the front and rear parking. Is that something you have in stock?
Yeah, well, we could ship it tomorrow for sure.
Yep, there you go, Curvy.
Only part of that I make to order is the actual parking part of it, because I sell them individually, and that's one of my favorite kits. I mean, that actually is part of the track that George originally was designing a oval, and that was the 3-lane oval, and those were the 3 garages for it. So that's where that was. The idea was to sell this turnkey track kit with all the scenery and the curved grandstands and all that stuff. And it's funny because the curved grandstands are popular, and the garage is popular, and I still haven't sold the track yet. It's a good thing, because I mean, it sat here. We don't have we have fairly mild winters, and it sat here for the winter. And some of the spots that I didn't prime, like you could see that the MDF was degrading, but everywhere else that I primed was great. So it's like I learned something. So the next one will be better.
So yeah, Marty.
Chris Frederer is like a big fan, obviously, of us. He's been posting some great pictures, but he's literally working on a sign right now.
That's right. Chris is a great guy. Chris isn't far from me. We live about an hour apart, and so we will definitely have to to meet up at some point. We live too close. What I need to do is have him come down and race on the layout. That'd be fun.
I'm gonna have to make my way up there. I'm gonna do a summer tour and visit some people, whether they like it or not.
Yeah, let me know if you're nearby. Love to host you. Let's see. Kevin, thanks for adding the extra Shell logo sheets with my last order. They worked perfectly. That was Slot Car Dojo.
All right. We don't do anything with Shell.
Okay.
Now, can't we? Shell respectfully asked us not to use their logo any longer, so we don't.
Gotcha. Understand.
They asked so nicely that even though it's such a great logo, we had a few things left in stock, a few bridges and stuff left in stock, and I was fortunate enough to be able to sell them, so I didn't have to waste them.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do for Shell, and Boone is hopefully going to do a video, or somebody will do a video for any logos that do not give us permission, or most of the time they don't care. They're like really happy that we're, or they're generally happy they're getting any advertising, or they have fans. But like for Shell or whatever, I'm going to still sell the products. You'll be able to buy it, but you'll personally have to download their logo and print it, because I can't sell it.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
way, the end user still can enjoy it the way that we intended it, but they'll have to download the logo and get it printed somewhere.
Yeah, no problem.
Because somebody was talking about the Shell corner. That's my favorite of all designs, with all the different. I shared that picture with you last time.
Yeah, it's a shame that they don't see the value in it. I know it's just a big corporation and they're trying to protect their brand. I get that. It's the same thing that Ferrari's doing. With Carrera has the license and they're going to shut everybody else down, so they can't use their name. But it's a shame.
It is a shame, but I mean, it is their right. I mean, I wouldn't
I understand
want somebody
it. It's just
using my logo for. I mean, I wouldn't want somebody using my logo for something that I didn't intend it for. But if somebody was to use my logo, I would be honored if someone used my logo. But if a company was using my logo for something nefarious, that would bother me.
Yeah.
And I think that Shell just has a policy that we're not letting anybody do whatever. And they're not from the United States; they're from the Netherlands. So
right.
And they do have a process you can become a partner and make T-shirts and stuff like that. It's just so expensive that it's not worth.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But I've got a Shell sign. I mean, I think like most of that stuff that you were using Shell, those are all old logos. You weren't using their current Shell logo. You were using stuff from the past, and so. But anyway,
not their logo, not their name, not their anything.
Yeah.
And again, it was traumatic for about 5 minutes, and then I realized, hey, it's their thing. Let them do their thing, and it's not. A lot of times we're just recreating an image from history,
Yeah.
Like the Shell corners from the Charade circuit in 1959, from a sports car race, and it was just so awesome. We just had to do it. But like the Shell Bridge was entirely made up.
Yeah.
That we just dreamed up based on their logo, and it looks cool, and it should be a real bridge. So maybe they'll rip us off and make a real bridge.
Because that would be good. It would look good. Let's see, anything else? Videos.
We do have some Sinclair stuff. Someone's asking about Sinclair. I have a couple Sinclair signs, and I actually have a Sinclair service station that's done and ready to go, and I just haven't finished it. I haven't released it yet.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it the other day because I have all the print work and everything, and we sell a Gulf service station, and it's similar to that, but it's very cool.
Yeah, I have a Sinclair sign. Even as a little kid, I loved that logo because I was obsessed with dinosaurs as a little kid. So yeah, the Sinclair logo is great.
If anybody cares, there's a Main Street Antiques in North Carolina. There is a 10-foot tall, and they want $1,200 for it. Sinclair, dinosaur, Brontosaurus.
That's fantastic. That used to sit out in front of the stations.
Yeah, it's a legitimate one made of tin, and then with $1,200 for it, and it's like, I'm like, my wife looked at me like, no,
I,
because I've been eyeing this. Actually, there's this actual Sinclair pump at
oh,
a barbecue place by our here, and I'm like, I told the owner, you ever sell this to anybody, you got to call me first,
that's
because it's not a recreation, because there's a lot of recreations,
sure.
particularly golf. This is a real Sinclair thing,
That's awesome.
pump. I think we talked about the pure sign that I want to take from
Yeah.
my neighbor.
Yeah, that's yeah, you did the tower, right? The pure tower that
No,
you
yeah,
had. Yeah,
the spotter tower
the spotter
from
tower.
Daytona.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then plus I have the pit lane sign too as well. I don't think that's on the website. I'll have to put it on there.
Well, Kevin, is there anything we haven't covered yet that you wanted to talk about?
I don't think so. I appreciate everybody's support, and um, lots of good things to come. And the idea is, you got me. I'm sitting here looking at the thing about doing the banked turn, because I mean that's a problem everybody seems to have, and it would
Yeah.
just look so cool.
Yeah, so now that you got the gears turning, we'll see something in the next month or two, I'm sure.
Greg Hazel and the pump. He's
Uh,
talking. I don't know. What are you talking about, Greg? For the pump? Um,
oh, you were talking about the Sinclair dinosaur and the pump together would be
yeah,
awesome.
I had both of them. I have my little Sinclair museum there at Race Track Scenics.
He might be in trouble with the wife, but that would be fun to have.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're an hour 20 in, so I mean, if there's nothing else to talk about, so you are so busy, you probably don't get any track time with your slot cars. Is there
I'm
any
two
new
or three
slot
days
cars?
away from. There's 2 or 3 days away from that,
Oh yeah,
from being able to. Yeah, because we're gonna have a layout here. We got with all the doodads, and I'm excited about it. It's gonna have the Reams pit area, and
oh yeah, yeah. That looks great.
we're
By
do,
the way, that's a great model.
I'm
The garage.
finishing up. If you're familiar with the giant SO grandstand, it's on the left hand side of many Le Mans pictures, and it's a triple layer.
Yeah.
I'm finishing that up this week for a customer. It's like our big Daytona, or it's a huge grandstand. It's 36 inches wide,
Oh
and
wow.
almost it's 3 levels. I figured it out. You need 647 people or something like that to fill the stands. So that's something. It's a special order item, and it's too big for most people's tracks. But that would be the next epic thing that we're doing.
That's cool.
Plus, I'll be reintroducing the track lighting this in the next week or two.
Okay, cool. So,
Oh,
so do you have any slot cars that you're excited about getting here? Have you bought any new slot cars lately?
I love cheetahs, and I actually am going to buy a bunch of cars. So that's coming up soon.
Yeah.
I need to go through the 100 or so that I have and make them all work good. But I'm going to get some.
Yeah, there's some
I
great.
saw that. Uh, I saw that the shadow that people have been getting. I thought those were cool.
Yeah, those are nice.
Yeah, it's weird, and I think other people that do this for a living, it's like you love slot cars and you do hundreds of laps, and then you do something like this. The next thing you know, you don't think about the laps anymore.
Right.
It's kind of the same when music became my primary job. It wasn't fun anymore; it was my job.
Right.
But 2 or 3 days from now, I'll be able to do some laps. So.
Yeah, good. I think you always have to take time to do stuff like that. This is a fun hobby. I really enjoy it, and sometimes I'll get away from it for a couple days, and then I find myself itching to get back. So yeah, Daryl Rogers wants to know if you have a golf water tower instead of the BP.
Yeah, no problem. You can do that. No problem. Just order it and put golf in the comments.
Okay, there you
I'm
go.
going to actually add livery selection to that.
Okay.
That's we've had that was like our fourth or fifth product, and it used to be that you had to buy your own can, but now since we figured out how to do a cylinder out of MDF, it turns out great like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
we can easily do golf. I can actually take requests of any major
Okay.
major ones.
Yeah, guys, there's when you go to the order page, when you place the order, there's a place to put comments. So it gets submitted into the cart. So yeah, if there's something you want to change, or
Yeah, it would just be different graphic, and it comes laser cut. It goes around there. I don't know if Alex DeYoung ever visits this chat, but he's the one that did the. I sent him one of those and asked him to do one for me because he did such great work on other kits that he purchased. I'm like, do one of these for me.
yeah, that's cool.
Because I figured that no one had done it with the right vibe, and he seems to get the right vibe. He's a little bit like Boone. He comes up with really cool stuff. Oh, I have a I don't know if you have anybody from Australia on here, but I have I'm 2 days away from officially announcing Australian distribution.
Oh, nice.
And if anybody's from Canada, we're now shipping directly into Canada again, only through USPS.
Okay. Very good.
And
yeah, there's a lot of Canadians on in the live chat, so
it saves in general. I think it saves initially up front. It's like $31 or something like that, but it goes directly to you. It doesn't go through customs, as I understand it.
Gotcha.
Whereas if I send it through UPS, it goes through the customs thing, and not only you might save $6 or $7 on the shipping, but then you're stuck paying whatever the duty is on toy kits made out of wood.
Right. Yeah. So that might end up.
Gale Force Raceway could get. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, Gale Force. He just said if you send him the logo, he can let you know what it'll cost.
In general, $10 extra.
Let's see here. I just had something up there. Oh, George said if you need help getting any of those old slot cars running, let him know. He's happy to help you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see. Yes, can you get own logo? Yeah, Wildman. Yep. Just reach out to Kevin and he can hook you up. Let you know what you need to do.
It's just it's a $10 charge. It's a $10 charge for just a logo, like I did the two lines sign.
Yeah.
If you want something more elaborate, like this guy, it's more money. I think $50 or something like that. But it's like a real adventure,
custom,
custom stuff.
Yeah, that looks great.
I mean, this one's so cool that this is the first one, and I didn't want to give it to George. So I sent him 2 other ones instead of the one he paid for.
Yeah, Raul knocked George's logo out of the park. That's a great logo.
Oh, Raul did that logo?
Yeah.
Dang.
Conquest. Yeah, he redid mine. He's done Danny's, Dick's slot cars. He redid Harry Wise's home racing world. So yeah, he's a logo guy. He does a great job. And good dude. So all right, guys. Well, let's see. Perfect resolution, or better yet, anything your website I can get directions from. Gale Force. I sent a high res JPEG or PNG, I think, to him, and he was able to use that without any problem.
Yeah, any graphic file, preferably as high resolution as you can give me.
Yeah,
it will look better.
Something like 300 DPI or more, if you can get that. That will print fantastic at that scale, because you're not enlarging it where you need lots of DPI. But if it's 300 or more, you're in great shape.
Yeah, another exciting thing is the company that we use for our print work, because we had ordered so much, we wore out their printer. At least they tell me that was me. And so they got a new one that's a real high resolution, high DPI print. So, nice. And this was, his was the first one to come off the batch,
Yeah.
and it really looks good. It has a lot of depth to it, and it looks better than the other stuff that, like, even the Race Track Scenics one. I asked him to print another, reprint a lot of my artwork.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it looks good. All right.
it can go as high as you would like as far as resolution.
Yeah.
It's interesting because you ask somebody about their logo, send me anything, and they really don't have that good a resolution. It's like you always get the highest resolution, and then if possible, get the file that they use to make the actual artwork from.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of times, like I need to reach out to Raul. I would love to have I'm sure he did it in Illustrator. Having the vector image would be fantastic. So
the guys at the Bud kiosk have to pee. Yeah, anybody wants Budweiser stuff? It seems to have stopped selling. This is a new one, a Pabst one. It's basically the same kit as the Bud kiosk, but I like the engraving. I don't know if you can see the engraving in the front and then the rear.
Yeah, that looks really good.
PBR. You have the sign.
Let's see. You have the SVG. Yeah, you're right. I do have that. Raul. Oh, he was talking about. I said something about the Illustrator file. He did send me the SVG, so I'm good.
Yeah, SVG files are what we use to create the.
Yep.
It's
a vector image.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, man, lots of activity in the chat. This has been great, Kevin. Man, thanks for your time. I'll let you.
Oh, anytime. Next, see you next month.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm happy to have you come back. You could always jump in on Raul's on Monday nights too. It's George and myself and Raul and Massimo. Boone jumps on every once in a while, and we've had lots of different guests. So if you ever want to have a Monday evening free, it's at 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm sure Raul would love to have you on, and we could always talk about. We always have a subject that we talk about, but then we always end up getting into the weeds of whatever the guest is into. So, yeah, that'd be good. So, but I'll let you get back to your evening, and
all right.
I'm sure your wife is probably wondering where you're at. But thanks for the shop tour.
She helped me during the day. She helped me during today. I think she's probably sleeping on the couch now. But anyway, I appreciate everybody, the support, and so if I'm gonna go ahead and extend the 2 lines coupon if anybody wants a 2-line sign.
Oh yeah, cool. So yeah, if it's 2 lines 20, I think was the code. The number 2.
I'll go on this in a few minutes and extend it to June 1st.
Okay, that's awesome. So that means if you spend $40 or more, you get a free 2 lines billboard with your order. That's pretty cool. Kevin, thanks for doing that, man.
And
that means a lot.
All right, well, guys, thanks so much, and thanks, Marty. You're awesome.
Guys, thanks for tuning in tonight, and we will catch you next Tuesday. Go have some fun racing.